year marks the 100th anniversary of the Detroit Nu Omega chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity. A Founders Day banquet takes place next month, and the men of Nu Omega are taking part in a series of community activities as part of the Centennial Celebration. I spoke with the chair of the chapter's anniversary committee and past president, Dr. Michael Carrauthers, about the fraternity's history and its service leadership. So 100 years of Qs in Detroit. How did we ever survive that long? It's really, it's really something.
Absolutely. I think we would like to say it was, through perseverance.
Yeah, right. So let's talk about the 100th anniversary and the things that you guys are doing to mark that milestone.
Well, we have been planning this is a culmination of 2 years of activities, and we planned a series of activities to last for the entire year. Our particular chapter, Nu Omega chapter, is one of the largest Omega chapters in the fraternity and was the first graduate chapter established in the state of Michigan. We were established on January 24th, 1923. Mm-hmm. And we had been planning these celebratory activities for the entire year for 2023. And so we started off with an ecumenical service at the Fellowship Chapel earlier this year. We had a golf outing, and we did some backpack giveaways and some community service programs more recently at the start of the school year. But the culmination of the activity was on earlier this September, where we had a gala at the Motor City Casino with over 500 guests.
Wow. Let's talk about the history of Omega Psi Phi and also the history of Black fraternities here in the city of Detroit, how important they've been to bring people along, to create fellowship, but then also to provide really critical services, fill the gaps in service in our community.
Certainly. I think all of the Black fraternities, certainly in the Metro Detroit area, have contributed to the well-being of African Americans and Detroiters in the community. But certainly we take great pride in what our members had done in the Black community, and be advised that a lot of us, in terms of fraternal organizations, arrived in the city of Detroit around the time of the Great Migration, in the 1920s. Mm-hmm. And so some of the brothers who established our particular chapter had a profound impact on Detroiters in the city. For example, Dr. DeWitt T. Burton was a doctor. He was a medical doctor. But upon his arrival to the city of Detroit, he realized, because of segregation and racism, he could not practice his craft. And so he helped establish in the 1920s 3 hospitals specifically for African Americans, because even at that time he was akin to the healthcare needs for the Black community. It not only served for African American patients, but it also served for African American healthcare professionals, because they did not have an opportunity to do clinicals or rounds. And one of the young doctors he reached out to give assistance to him in this process was a young man by the name of Dr. Charles H. Wright, mm-hmm. the founder of the African American Museum, mm-hmm. which we were able to help him establish back in 1965. Yeah. We also have a brother in our roles, Brother Francis Dent, who was an attorney, who helped address in court the restrictive racial covenant laws that existed for African Americans for housing, that certainly existed during the Great Migration and around World War II. And he successfully addressed those particular racial covenants in the court, and they were a forerunner to Thurgood Marshall's arguments years later. And so we are very, very proud of some of the things that we have done some of our members have done in the African American community for the city of Detroit.
Yeah. That connection to Dr. Charles H. Wright is so important to so many people here in the city, not just because of the museum, but because of the hundreds, if not thousands, of African American babies he helped deliver here in our city, and I'm one of them. On my birth certificate, the doctor who delivered me was Charles H. Wright. It just shows how these small things that people do, these gestures that people make in our community, have incredible reverberation across wide swaths of our community. No one escapes the touch of those things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's talk about Omega Psi Phi now, and what you see among the folks who are members of the fraternity now and coming up in Detroit and joining. What's the future look like for this fraternity?
Well, I think our future goes back to our past. We still believe on helping those who cannot help themselves and lifting as we climb. We have a statement that one of our own has used, that we stand the tallest when we stoop down to help another. Mm-hmm. And so we still are on the mission to help our young people, help those people, educational wise, and now for financial literacy and mental health services. Those are things that are that are very indicative in terms of challenges in the Black community, especially amongst Black males in terms of mental health. And so we look to those areas that we can give the best service for our people and for our community.
Yeah. Okay, Dr. Michael Carrauthers, congratulations again on 100 years of Omega Psi Phi brothers here in the city of Detroit, and of course, congratulations on all the important things that has meant to Detroit over that time.
Thank you, and thank you very much.